we're live, and we are live. So we're just, you and I, everybody can say hi. You and I are just going to chat for a couple of minutes till we see some people starting to come into the stream. We started a couple minutes early, just to sort of be on the safe side so that we knew. I will repeat this again when we know that people are coming in, but there is a minor delay between our software, which we're using, and hello, Kayla, and the YouTube and Facebook. So as you guys are coming in and seeing us on the stream, please feel free to give us just a little hello. I'm going to recognize some of you. Bonnie's going to recognize some of you. I get to meet some new people today. Bonnie gets to meet some new people today. I'm so excited. Hello, Angie. Wonderful to see you.
Angie.
Is Angie yours? How about Bailey?
She's mine. I totally own her.
Seems fair. That's fine. That's fine. Carmen and Bethany are mine, so there. Okay. And Kayla. So just as you guys are coming in, say hi. Now that I know that people are definitely here and watching, I'm just going to give us a little bit of an introduction. So just really quickly, my name is Kjarlune Rae. I have been top clairvoyant for 35 years here in Canada. And I have been, for those of you that do know me, I don't typically work with people in my field, but I have been so lucky to get to know Bonnie. And in just a minute, I'm going to share something with you guys about Bonnie that's just going to blow all of your minds. But anyways, I've been so lucky to get to do some stuff with Bonnie, and Bonnie has agreed to come and work with me, which is so exciting. So I'm going to hand it over to you, sweetheart. I'd love you to introduce yourself to everybody.
Absolutely.
Tell everybody about yourself, and then we'll get started.
Hey, I'm just as thrilled as KJ is to be here, to have this opportunity, not only to partner with her because of this incredible juju that she has, but of course, in terms of, hanging out with all of you that are coming in online, new friends, new faces, old souls, really, gathering here together. And it's so great to be able to have this time. I have been a medium my whole life. I've been talking to dead people forever. And, I really came into practice and really owning who I was about, 11 years ago, really, and have been working professionally ever since. I started out doing so many readings for people, and my business, my purpose, not my business, because it's my purpose, has just evolved so much because of it. I love what I do. I love what this world is about, and I love hanging out with people in the woo-woo. It's one of my favorite things to do.
People in the woo. Well, okay. So before we even start today's topic, I have to share something with you guys. So Bonnie and I have been doing work together on building our energies and doing all that kind of stuff. And I've just always known that you're gifted since the first time we met, but I have never, first of all, just really quickly, hello, everyone. Please keep saying, I love it. And Graham as he sees, I now have a partner in crime. It's true. I do. But I have to share this with you guys with Bonnie because this has just been insane. So you guys do not know this. Many of you do not know this. But last Tuesday, a very dear friend of mine, Vi, passed away from cancer after us only finding out 3 weeks ago. And just some background so you guys can understand, this is the beautiful wife of my husband's best friend and the woman that I give complete credit for my husband actually being who he is today, because she was there for him for all those years before I got a chance to meet him. So I'm sharing this with you guys so you can understand I've been back and forth on the road. Yes, I've been careful. Yes, I've been social distancing. Yes, I've been in quarantine. I just happened to be that at Sean's house and at our house. So just so you guys can understand, the only thing that Bonnie knew was that we had somebody who passed away recently. So we come on a couple minutes early so that we can talk to each other about what today's topic's going to be. She knows nothing about this. I need you guys to understand because you guys all know me. If you know me, I am the biggest skeptic walking. I make you guys look like you're nothing. Okay. So I'm sitting here, minding my own business, about to tell my girl over here what our topic is going to be. And she stops me and she goes, before you can even continue, I need to know, who is Violet? So as my eyes bug out of my head, I'm like, what do you mean? I want to do this right now. What the hell do you mean? So Violet happens to be the woman that just passed away last Tuesday. And most people don't even know her as Violet. They know her as Vi. And there is no way Bonnie actually knew who this person was. I need you to understand this. Bonnie did not know. So Violet proceeds to explain to Bonnie what we mean to her and how and I mean, I don't know if you can remember this, honey, because I don't know how it works for mediums. I'm lucky to remember my own name. Do you remember anything you said?
No.
So she proceeds to inform me that Violet loves me so much, and thank you for getting there right away and doing everything for Hab and for his family. And then she's like, it's just so needless to say, what I'm trying to explain to you guys is I'm not a medium. Okay. So you got to understand, even when I talk to dead people, which I try to avoid like the plague, that can totally be your thing. Bonnie, that's all yours. I'll fix your crap. Bonnie can talk to the dead people. But anyways, even though I have experienced communicating with the other side, I have never in 35 years have I gotten a name and the kind of detailed information that Bonnie just throws at me out in the blue. Like, by the way, hey, your lips look good. By the way, who's Violet? So I would just like you guys to know that she's going to be scaring the crap out of all of us this evening. It was an absolute amazing experience, truly. And I love you so much, Bonnie. It was amazing.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And it's her fault. My mascara is how it is now.
Yeah. And then she just, a minute before we come on, she starts being all beautiful and kind to me, and I start crying. So we're both showing up with smeared makeup and emotional as we're coming on. Oh my gosh. I have to tell you guys, I have to tell you guys, I met KJ. We haven't known each other for very long. We've only known each other for a couple of years, maybe at the most. I had a few readings with her earlier on. I was looking for someone, to be able to guide me, just like many of you have looked for that helping hand, and somebody just to kind of give you an insight and some direction for what's playing out in your life. And through our conversations, I had said to her, I said, hey, I had contacted her after, and I said, I really feel like I need to business mentor with you. And she replied back to me and she said, I'll consider it. I don't really work with people like you. And I don't know, we'll see. And I replied back to her and I said, well, I'd really appreciate you, if you could please do this. I'm between a rock and a hard place. Yeah. You see, what I didn't realize is I was in a place of psychic burnout. I had compassion fatigue. I was in empathic overwhelm. And if it wasn't for this woman, I would never be where I am today, back and vibing in what I love and what I do. So I think the world of this woman, you guys, and trust her through and through. She's amazing. And everything that you have always, anything that you've ever shared with me, KJ, has always played out. It's like, it's so beautiful how that happens. It's like, oh yeah, that made sense. Oh, I remember KJ telling me that.
Yeah, well, just for the record, I'm not talking to another dead person. I'm calling you. Thank you, sweetheart. That means a lot to me. But now, like, I always knew you were good, but now, like, you want to hear weird? She talks to dead people. Like, we can actually say that legit. Like, that's not even. I can vibrate with dead people. You actually chat them up and take names and have coffee. Like,
exactly. Totally have coffee.
It's just overwhelming. Thank you so much, sweetheart. So what I'd like to do, what we decided to do today, everybody, is that we, there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on for everybody. And, I had talked to Bonnie a few months ago in one of our sessions and said, I'd really like us to do some work together. And maybe we'll go do some live and maybe do some dual and psychic stuff, which we definitely want to do. And so we talked about that. But then I sort of came home, and after being here for a couple of days, I was so overwhelmed with everything that I was seeing on Facebook. And every time I was turning around, I was crying because I'm seeing what people are going through and the fear and the emotions and the being so overwhelmed. And I thought, we've got to do something. And then I'm not going to lie to you, because those of you on this group that do know me know that I'm unbelievably stubborn and pig-headed. And it was the fifth post, Bonnie, it was the fifth post of someone on my newsfeed saying, how could psychics not predict COVID? That it was like, okay, I'm either going to lose my crap and completely lose my reputation because I'm just going to come unglued, or I'm going to contact Bonnie and we're going to go live together and we're going to answer some of these questions and help everybody.
The latter is probably the greater of responses.
I figured that was probably the smarter move. So I thought, maybe we should. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Diane. And just really quickly, I can see all of you. Susan Wirth, it is so wonderful to meet you. I know that you're Bonnie's, so I'm just gonna
right,
call
totally.
me Clairvoyant, or maybe it's the last name. I don't take credit for what I don't actually pick up. But it's what I've heard so much about you, sweetheart, in our sessions, and it's so wonderful to see you here. all of you. It's just so wonderful to have you here. And through all of this, I'll either throw little things out to you guys or Bonnie will. And we are tonight, stay with us, you guys. After we're done talking about this kind of stuff, we are absolutely going to do some question and answer. But before we do our topic, I just need to know, are you feeling overwhelmed by anybody at this second, or can we go into our topic, Bon?
No, we could go right
We're
ahead.
good?
Well,
Okay.
you know what? Can I just take a moment? I have, she knows.
Yeah.
As I said, I was able to share from Violet with her earlier. And at the same time, I had someone else coming in, a male coming in who passed away from an accident. It was of course, an accident. We know a lot of shock. There's a lot of surprise in his death. His name is Dennis, and he was a type of personality. I mean, he loved to smoke. He loved to drink whiskey. He's showing me whiskey shots. And he was really, what's the word I want to use? What's he giving me? Just like took over a room. It's not like he was a bully. He wasn't rude or anything, but he just kind of monopolized people's time. And he just hung out and took over. And it was like when he walked in, nobody else stood a chance at anything. It was like he always thought he knew everything, but he kind of didn't. But he still thinks that he does. So I'm not sure who he belongs to, but he's been a really strong, really
family. But I don't have a dentist.
Took all the boxes, right? Totally. And he's just coming in because he says this is an opportunity. He's got a loved one that is watching, that is connected to this, who's really been struggling in terms of what their relationship was, because it looks like they had a very tumultuous relationship. There's a lot of there was a lot of angst. And whoever it is that's joining us here this evening, that this person is having a lot of guilt or feeling a lot of remorse about the relationship with him. He's asking you to let it go because he knows at times he was a bit of. Do we have a censor here? Because he's saying he knows he was a bit of an ass. But so he just says, let it go. He said he takes responsibility for his part, and he knows that he loves, and know that he knows that you love him. Okay, all's forgiven, he said, all's forgotten.
So if any of you in the feed at this point, because I know there's going to be people coming through like crazy, but if any of you in this feed right now have someone that they love that's passed on by the name of Dennis, please let us know in the chat, because, then Bonnie knows what direction she needs to go with this. Am I correct about that, sweetheart?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
And then we know what direction that she needs to go. So just really quickly, Bonnie does have a dentist that has passed away from
a accident. Barbara. Hello, Barbara Foley. Barbara says, my grandfather was Dennis, and he was a Scotch and whiskey drinker. So does this, I hope that this message makes sense to you. It might be in relation to somebody that is connected with him, whether it be maybe one of his kids even. There's a connection here. It's just really important for his family to know that he loves everybody, and that he knows how he was, and he apologizes because of the impairment. First, there's an impairment in the relationship. It was like it was strained. The relationships with him were strained. And so he apologizes from that. His lack of morals, let's call them morals, maybe, his lack of value for people and appreciation of people, he said, was pretty small. So he just really wants his family to know how very sorry he is and how much he loves them. So I really pray that this is sitting right with you. And I don't know where you went.
Yeah, okay. She's up there. She's up there, sweetheart.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
so
I'm really hot, so it's
I know, right? I'm on your page. Okay. I'm about to stick on a fan here in a second. But so what we're going to do to start off with, and again, so much for you guys to understand, and I am saying hello. Oh, that would very much make sense, Bon.
Yay,
good job.
Good.
And really, we are seeing all of you. I'm just trying to talk at the same time. I do need to throw it a really quick. I love you, Anthony, because that's my brother. So. Yeah, and my Tara, and I love how everybody's saying hi to both of us, which is so what. Your mom is here?
My mom is here.
Which one's your mom? Just really quick.
Janet.
Well, Janet, just for the record, you raised an exceptional young woman who I am so thrilled to have in my life. So thank you so much. So what we want to do before we get started, and I promise you, we are going to do question and answer, and you can, I know, Tara, I know that your nephew just passed away, sweetheart, and I so hope that he comes through today. We are going to do question and answer. I promise you, we are absolutely going to do everything that we can to help you because we truly do want to. What we wanted to start with is to really, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. The first thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to give sort of some understanding about intuition and sort of how it works, you know, at least the way that I can speak. And then I'd like you to sort of give your version, if that's okay, Bonnie. I've seen these posts about why couldn't a psychic predict the COVID? And then I seen other posts that of course said Sylvia Browne had predicted the COVID, and everybody's like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. And please don't misunderstand me. It's absolutely amazing. Okay. I'm not giving Browne any credit. She gets all the credit. No question about it. But it's so important. Hello, my boy. It's so important to understand that for me, and I can only speak for clairvoyance, okay? And then I'm going to get you to speak for mediums if you can. And I'm going to try to help people understand what the difference is, because so many people just don't understand the difference. But as a clairvoyant, for me, I can't actually predict. There's two sorts of things that I cannot do in my line of work. The one thing that I cannot do is I cannot predict anything that emotionally affects me. Okay. So if it affects me, I am just like the rest of you, as blind as a freaking bat. There's nothing I can do about it. And as much as I would love to tell you that the COVID virus does not, in fact, affect me, the fact that I'm still madly in love with my husband after being stuck with him this many days in a row says it does. Okay. It does affect me. It affects me. It affects my children. It affects my husband. It affects my friends. It affects me. I am emotionally attached. And that's what people need to understand, is that when you are emotionally attached to something, it doesn't matter what your abilities are. It doesn't matter if you're an empath. It doesn't matter if you're clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, a medium. You cannot see past the emotion. It's a part of our brain that gets in the way of everything. It gets in the way for you. It gets in the way for me. I assure you, if I could see my own future, I would not have skinny dipped in Mexico. I would not have flashed my boobs in Las Vegas after losing 200 pounds. I would not have married my first husband. I mean, I got a list of what I would not do. I would, in fact, have all of my children and still have Brian. But the rest of it, seriously debatable. The things I've done in my life, seriously debatable. You would think I have no ability whatsoever. And when it has to do with me, that is correct information. So the first things first is tell me about it, what it's like for a medium.
You know what? Exactly. I think anytime we're emotionally involved in our life, it becomes difficult for us to really receive accurately. Now, that's one of the difference between what we want to call psychics and mediums. Psychics are about a perception of things, or a perception of energy, whereas a medium receives direct communication. It's like being on the phone and having a conversation. Like I'm talking to KJ right now. We receive this information. And so within that, when we're emotionally attached to the situation, like I know when my loved ones go, as much as I would like to be able to connect with them and hang out with them, I can sense their presence, but I can't receive them. And I can't receive them because my emotional body, my emotions are what actually create the veil of separation between myself and what we know to be the other side. And so that veil of separation, when I'm emotionally close to it, it's really impossible for me to be able to get a clear read for myself. So easy for other people. And it's one of the things that used to tick me off the most about being a medium, is that I could get everybody else's dead relatives, and the people that I really wanted to connect with, I couldn't. And I really, I took that as
affronted, right? Like there was something wrong with you.
There was something wrong with me. Exactly. Why didn't they want to talk to me? They were showing up for other people, but why weren't they coming to me? They were, but they couldn't get to me because of my emotional body.
It took me so long to figure out, because I'm like everybody else. I mean, I was going this alone, right? And so it took me so long to figure out that it was the emotional that would get in the way, because I'd be so mad at myself. And I can't tell you how many times early in my business, I was like, I'm out. I am about as psychic as my freaking cat. Like, I don't know how I guessed that crap right. I mean, it was, a good day. I don't know what to tell you, but I couldn't do anything for me. And I would get so angry and so frustrated and so overwhelmed. And then it wasn't until you guys are all going to laugh because I always complain about my psychology schooling, but it was actually when I was taking psychology. They explain the emotions and stuff, and I'm like, oh, duh. Right. Maybe that's what's in the way.
Maybe.
Who knew? Right? I don't get out much. So, sometimes it takes something big. So that is definitely, once our emotions are in the way, it doesn't help. Now, I don't know about you. I can't answer this for you because I am, and this is so important to understand, the reason that I am working with a medium is because I am not a medium. So when I communicate with the other side, I communicate with the other side all the time. I mean, they give me messages too, but not at all, just for the record. Violet. Not at all. The way that they do for Bonnie. I'm just throwing this. So when I've got somebody coming through, I'll be in a big show, or I'll be doing a like one of my live shows, or I'll be doing a session, and I get this overwhelming feeling of like their grandpa or their mom, and I know right away who it is, and I'm understanding. But for me, it's like, because I'm a clairvoyant, so I'm a seer, which is different than other different abilities. But because I see, it's like little movie screens going on in my head, if that makes any sense. So they're showing me things that I can sort of relate to be able to make descriptions, right? And sometimes I actually get videos of things that have happened in my life so that I can be like, hey, like, were you an abused wife? Because, I'm seeing the crap getting kicked out of me over here in the back of my mind. So I'm pretty sure there's a connection, right? So I get things done that way because they're done visual, right? Whereas, so I don't communicate with people that have passed on at all like you do, nor do I ever. I'm one of those people that I will never actually claim to. I mean, people ask me all the time, can you talk to so-and-so? I can try. Give it a shot. I'm willing to try anything once, twice if I like it, 3 times if it was tons of fun, but cannot promise, right? Whereas for you, that's what you do naturally. But where I was headed here was, the one thing that is very difficult for me to do, and that's where I'm saying I don't know if it is for you, is it is unless I pick up that somebody is sick and there's something that can be done about it. So unless something can be done, I don't pick up on a death, which has been devastating for me in my career, because there has been times, of course, I can give you an example just so you guys understand. I had this beautiful client who was in an abusive relationship, and she came to me for a session, and immediately I'm seeing her traveling and leaving with her daughter. And I'm like, you're leaving? And she's like, yeah, I was, that's why I came to see you. I want to go home. I want to go home to the States. And I'm like, get in the car and go. And it was 2 or 3 days later, I got a call from one of my clients who was a client of hers. And I had gotten nasty emails in my inbox that I didn't know who it was, saying that it was my fault that someone died. And I got a call from one of my clients saying, I just wanted you to know that on her way home, she was in an accident and her daughter drowned. And I was beyond devastated. I mean, I was basket case devastated. I think I stopped working for a month that year, because I just couldn't. I was so devastated. And it was actually, that particular client, actually, she's like, Kjarlune, I've known you a lot of years and you've never been able to predict somebody's death. And it took her reminding me that I can't actually predict something that literally is, if it's in the contract and there's no way around it. I mean, time's up, right? I can't do that. I'm not saying nobody can do that. I'm saying I can't do that. So what about you?
So what's really interesting is, even as a medium, as we receive, it works. I mean, we have clairvoyance that plays out. Those could be images we're actually seeing. We can see, have a interview of spirit, what they look like, etc. And they will play off of what's on the back of our mind too, based on our bias, what we've lived through, what we've experienced. And so we can utilize that to be able to translate or speak to what their greater message is. It's very much like puzzle pieces, though. They only give us little bits and pieces, a lot of signs, a lot of symbols, a lot of just.
Okay, so that is similar.
So it's a little bit similar, but then there's the other part of it, which just becomes this aspect of, I don't remember my sessions. You're right. It's the claircognizance that takes over. I just know stuff, and I don't even have opportunity to think about what I know. It's like the top of my head just opens up and the information is just flowing through me and coming out my mouth even before I've had a chance to think about it. So it's not even like I can really define and say, oh, that was a definite clairaudient and that was a definite clairvoyant, and it was like all of those senses are working cohesively in connection. One of the things, though, is that I know in the sessions, our loved ones, they never come away. They don't want to cause us any fear. There's never any gloom or doom. It's always being about proactive for their life. Even I might be showing things like somebody might have an illness or and there's guidance where their loved ones, can you please tell them to get to the doctor? They've been putting it off. It's important that they go, those kinds of things. But there's no diagnosis. There's no, no prediction of anybody's death. Yes, there are ways that, when we talk about things in kind of higher learnings of things, of what is known as the genetic entity and how we can read into that. But really, at the end of the day, it's really none of our business. I think that's that part. And we're only given what it is that we need to know, not just because we're nosy.
Well, right? Right. And that's something that's also very important to understand. And just on a separate note, the funny thing is as soon as it's confirmed to them, I don't know about you, but as soon as it's confirmed to them, yes, I can tell you right away when someone's going to die, right? So if it's an illness or something, I can almost pinpoint it down to the day that it's going to happen, because now I'm like authorized information, because I have to get the information through you, like through whoever I'm dealing with. That's how I get the information. I'd love to tell you that I just got an open tap. I would be on some serious drugs.
So it's different though when it comes to life, because in life it's like you're working with two souls here all of a sudden. All of a sudden you're doing a read on not only the person would be your sitter or your client, but there's somebody else that's involved here. So as soon as there's a pregnancy and a baby, boom, that child is brought. It's like, oh wow, honey, like my poor daughter-in-law was so upset with me because I knew. I'm sorry, I knew.
Right. And there is just things, there's things that we can't explain, right? Like I know for me personally, there's things I can't explain that I know what I know. It's so important to understand that, I think the other thing that's very important to understand is one of the reasons that, I have the ability to see things with my clients that I see and to pick things up and to find the solutions so quickly. And, because a lot of people say when they're in a session with me that it's like counseling on speed, right? And the reason that I can do that is because I'm not stuck in that emotional place that you're in. So yes, I'm picking up stuff clairvoyantly for sure, no question about it, but I'm not stuck in that place where you can't see the forest for the trees, right? So for me, I can see the entire labyrinth of the maze. And I don't know how that works for you, but for me, it's exactly like puzzles and everything comes flying at me. And I tried to describe this to somebody a while ago. I sit with somebody for an hour and I live their entire life in a 60-minute time slot. And then everybody wonders why after 7 or 8 hours, I'm like... vibrating, and someone's got to carry me to bed, which is not good when you were my size at 500 pounds before I lost all the weight. I mean, I was not an easy girl to carry, right? So, but for me, it all happens so fast, right? But one of the things about it is I don't have that emotional attachment to it. Right. It's so much easier, which comes back to the first thing of why couldn't I, for an example, or you, for an example, predict COVID? There's an emotional attachment here. Right? Like it's not just what is it or what isn't it. We're affected, not infected. You'll notice I did say I'm quite healthy right now, but affected, right?
In one way, shape, or form, it is affecting all of us from the choices we're making, what we had available to what we no longer have available, what our mechanisms are for coping, even healthfully, the choices we're making. We're all being affected by this, whether we're in the depths of what are health-related issues, or somebody close to us, or even some of the big events and things that are, playing on the world. I was just sharing with KJ. I said, my sweet daughter is getting married in May, and so all of a sudden, what has been the plan for this big event had got downsized to 50, and now, as of today, they're talking no groups over 10, and so it's very disheartening. So there is upset, so to speak, for everyone. And it's so important right now to see that, even with knowing the things that we know and what we're being given at the time, we're emotionally involved. When spirit is talking, it's so beautiful. I can do readings for people I know because they always give me something that there's no way I could possibly know. And as an example,
that's where you're lucky, because I get that maybe like I tell people they're all like, oh my God, I want to be your best friend. I'm like,
yeah.
No.
So, And so they do. They will give, it takes me back to a reading I did for my sister many, many years ago. Now our dad is dead. And so therefore, obviously he's our dad. So I know everything and all kinds of stories and whatever. But she's 8 years older than I am. And so in that, and it was a big thing. It was like he gave me something specific to her as being 8 years younger. I would never even know it had happened and played out. And it was in that moment she knew that I was really in connection with dad. So there are, there's things that they will give us us, which is
Yeah,
different
that's
than
fair, because that's
prediction,
happened too.
right?
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. I've had the odd occasion where it's a family member or something, or, you know, like when my kids were younger and I'm driving past the Boys and Girls Club, and I slam on my brakes and I go walking right over to where one of my kids is making out with some little punk, because it's like the walls just open right up. So I mean, yeah, there's the odd time where my intuition gets to kick up notch. So that's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
Right.
So yeah, I just think it's so important for everybody to understand. Now, I just really quickly, if that's okay with you, Bonnie,
Yep.
if I'm going so too fast, you tell me.
You go.
I also think it's so important. I'm going to come back to the whole Sylvia Browne thing, because it is said everywhere, and I have not read her books. No disrespect. I live in this world. I try not to study this world. Just throwing that out there. I teach it. I live it. When I'm done, I'm watching or reading 50 Shades of Grey. Okay. I'm a smut book reader.
You're doing your human. I mean, you know.
I'm doing my human. I love that. I'm going to make a post. I'm doing my human.
Doing your human.
I'm doing my human. So I haven't read this, but I've heard so much that Sylvia Browne predicted it. Here's what's so important to understand. Sylvia Browne, Nostradamus, any of the big, huge predictions that you guys know about that everybody sits back and they're like, well, how did they predict it? But you didn't. They aren't here. It did not, in fact, affect Sylvia Browne, because she wasn't going to be here on Earth when it transpired. Okay. In fairness, I predicted Michael Jackson's death too, because as much as when I was younger, I was going to be married to him. I'm just throwing this out here that sometimes the best prayers are unanswered ones. Because they'd have been some cute babies. I'm just saying. You know, once I got older, I was like, maybe he's not nearly as hot as I thought he was. I still love him.
I love him.
Okay. I still heart Jackson. I do. But when I predicted it on the Montreal radio station on Virgin Montreal with Freeway and Natasha, and then everybody's flipping out once he dies, and they're like, oh my God, KJ, you predicted this. I'm like, Jesus, did I? Like, I was so excited, right? But I wasn't emotionally affected. Okay. Right. Sylvia Browne could make those predictions because she wasn't emotionally affected. You know, when I predicted that either the Montreal Canadiens were going to take the cup or the goalie was going to get injured, one of those two things were happening. As it turned out, Bryce got injured. I was not affected. I'm not I just, for all of you from Montreal, I love you. I'm not a hockey fan. I was hoping for you. I really was. But right. Yeah. So it's different when you're not emotionally affected. You know, there's a reason why all this stuff from Nostradamus and all of that has gone the way that it has, because they weren't actually being affected. Right.
Exactly.
So just such important things.
Can I just add something to that, June? And I've seen a lot of stuff on social media where people were arguing over who predicted it. And it was in Sylvia Browne's book. And no, it wasn't. It was in this person's book. This other person is the one who actually predicted it. No, it wasn't. It was not. You know, it's just important to realize that more than one person can predict the same thing. There's a stream of consciousness that drops into this person and this person over here, and that we all have access to the same resources, the same information. So it is possible for more than one person to be able to predict something. It really is. And that's why I've seen a lot of people and going at each other, they're nasty at each other. I'm like, what?
I know it's honestly why I don't spend a lot of time in the community. I don't do nasty very well. It's not a world I live in. You know, I live in a place that's unconditional love, and I truly do. See, now everybody's telling me they're from Montreal ever since I mentioned Montreal Canadiens. I get in big trouble here pretty quick. I love you guys. In fairness, Montreal is my very favorite place to go to. I just like to
beautiful city.
Oh my Lord,
absolutely stunning. Love it.
Yeah, it is stunning. So I think that's very important too. You know, the other thing is when you're good at what you do, and it doesn't really matter what it is. So I'm not just talking psychics or clairvoyants or mediums, or I'm talking doctors and lawyers and psychologists, and you pick a field, okay, singers and songwriters. And when you're good at what you do and you love what you do and you live what you do, you really don't care who gets credit for what you're saying. Like, I don't know about you, Bonnie, but I really don't care. No. If you think that Bonnie made the prediction and it was KJ, or KJ made the prediction and it was, I don't care.
It's the biggest thing is that people know. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter who's teaching what, who's doing what, that there is somebody for everybody. And it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who did what and who said what and whatever, you know. One of the things in terms of mediumship, when we understand prediction and things like that, people will often say, well, what's the purpose of talking to my dead relatives? They didn't know very much in life. They're not going to give me the best advice now, or they don't want to talk to them or listen to them. But the thing to understand is that our loved ones, when they die, we see them as being a part of our past. But
Right.
because they've gone on ahead of us, they're actually holding space for our future. So they know who we are. They know all of the players in our life. They know what we have to contend to. They have access to what is our greater purpose, mission, destiny, whatever you want to call it. And they can help to they can tap into the very stream of consciousness that is able to help give the direction as to what steps to take. And so we do want to listen to them. We do want to follow the guidance because they see where we are, they see where we want to get. And because they're holding that space for the future, they can help us get there. They can give us the guidance and steps that we need to take. So mediums, we don't predict it. It's not prediction. It's just based on where the energies are sitting today when we do a session. And that can change because we all have free will. We all have freedom of choice. And so we can heal something, change our mind about something. And guess what? We can either speed something up in our life or we can slow it down, just like this virus. We can slow this down.
Oh, and I am so glad you just went there, baby. I love you because that's the next thing we're going to talk about is how to slow this puppy down. Because everything is vibration and energy. Absolutely everything. The universe speaks and understands through energy alone. And, you know, energy attracts energy. This is so important for you guys to understand. Energy attracts energy. As human beings, we get so caught up in the who's, what's, where's, why's, when's, how's. Okay. It's irrelevant as far as the universe is concerned. So this is so important, my lovely. I love you all so much. This is so important to understand. It does not matter how this virus got here. And I assure you, I have some ideas, as I have no doubt Bonnie does, and many of you. Okay. It does not matter. Does not matter. What matters is that fear is attracting more fear. Scared is attracting more scared. You know, lack of giving a crap is attracting more lack of giving a crap. And our emotions spread like a virus. And so it is so important that we calm down. And you know what? And tell me if you agree, Bonnie, but I get it. I understand. I love you too, Sonia. I understand so much that it is scary. It's scary times right now. We've got everybody in our lives. People are being laid off everywhere. You know, money is tight. You know, fear of tomorrow is surrounding us. I don't particularly worry about tomorrow because I'm not going to lie to you. If this was the end of the earth, I'm not going to remember it when I cross over. So. And I'm not going to care how much money was in my bank account. But I mean, that's me. I don't care how much money's in my bank account while I'm alive. I'm certainly not going to care about it while I'm up there chatting with my grandfather, asking him why the hell he let some things happen. Because him and I, we have some conversations to have when I get there. But it doesn't, you know, if this, and I need to preempt here because I understand that this is also on Facebook and YouTube. This is not the end.
Right. Not at all.
This is not the end, people. Okay. Do not go, I don't know, buy a horse to put in your condo. We're not done. We're not even close to done. This is a cleanse. It's an important cleanse. It is, in my opinion, you can tell me if you disagree, Bonnie. I do not believe it was a universe sent cleanse. They'd given me some warning. We do not, would you agree or disagree, sweetheart? Do you think it's a
I believe that we have created something in mass here by laws of attraction in what we focus on. I mean, we know how energy works. So
I agree.
I think that when we talk about responsibility, we have a lot of responsibility, and there's been a lot that's been combusting. That we've seen it with fires in Australia. There was combustion happening. This was a warning sign. We are ill. So really, humanity has a virus based on not just what's physically happening, but what they've had a virus now for many, many years, which has become the materialistic world, the greed, the unforgiveness that is out there, the needing to be better than and competition and the fight against everything, the fight against drugs, the fight against bullying, the fight. And we've just been coming at all of this with just I don't want to call it wrong, because there's no right or wrong, but with an approach that has actually created the combustion. And it's in that fear that by law of attraction, what we give our focus and attention to continues to create. We can use, and we think of the movies. So you think, movies that are out there, Steven Spielberg, one of our greatest creators in the universe, because of all of the hundreds of thousands of people that tune into his movies.
Yeah.
And everybody focusing there of what begins to create and what begins to manifest and what we begin to live with. So this is a time of awakening, of evolution, of awareness, to say, where have we been focusing? What are we giving our attention to?
Yeah.
And how can each of us take responsibility for our inner worlds to clean things up?
Yeah.
So that we can shift the vibration, more compassion, more allowing, more just honoring each other and recognizing that, none of us is getting out of this world alive. None of us is going to always
guaranteed. Right? None of us are getting out alive. That is a guarantee. When this is all said and done, you're not getting out alive. Right?
So how can we show up how can we show up and be the best that we can possibly be to each other? To each other.
Well, and this one's so important too. Nobody, I don't care who you are or what you're doing, nobody is better than another person. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your education is. It doesn't matter what your child, every human being on this planet, it comes with being a human, has trauma. We all have trauma. My trauma is different than your trauma. My trauma has some similarities to your trauma. My trauma is equal to your trauma. Your trauma is equal to mine. And I just want to backtrack for just a second. You really, if you need proof of what energy can attract, there are 2 movies on Facebook right now that you would swear to God, okay, a writer channeled what was coming in 2020. And you know what? That's a possibility. It's a possibility. They could have channeled what was coming in 2020. Or we could have, as a collective of human beings, had enough people who watched that movie, went, oh my, what would we do if that ever happened? Freak out and attract a worldwide pandemic. Okay. Energy is
everything.
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 Everything. You're a parent and you've had a bad day at work. Okay. You're a single parent. You're a parent that's at home, doesn't care. Stressed right out. Okay. And that is the day out of all days that your kids are screaming about everything. Nothing makes them happy. They're flipping out. They're having a freaking basket case. There's nothing you can do. And it's the one day, I don't know if you remember this when your kids were young, Bonnie, but it's the one day that you're like, seriously, if you could just sit down and watch Sesame Street, that would just be brilliant. And if you could just zip it a little bit before your mom goes postal and locks you in a broom closet. So amazing. But you don't realize at the time that they're feeding off of you. Okay. You walked in a cranky, overwhelmed, and you scared the crap out of them. Energetically, you scared them into their reactions, right? And that's what's happening in our society right now. And you remember, you cut me off like crazy because I love to talk. That's what happens. I'm a talker. That's what happens in our society, right? So everybody's holding on to these fears and they're just, and you know what? This is so important. You're not alone. Okay.
Right. Oh my God.
Everybody is struggling. Okay. As I'm sure I have clients that are millionaires that in the last 3 weeks have lost millions of dollars. Okay. I have clients that don't have enough money to pay for their session with me that have no idea how they're going to pay their rent tomorrow. None of us are in a different place. Nobody is in a different place. And you're not looking, and it's so important, and how we turn this around. And tell me again if you think I'm wrong. But
no, I'm right on. Right.
Yeah. How we turn this around is we start breathing a sigh of relief. Because right now, we get to be at home with our families. We, get to have a reset. We get to take a breather. That may sound awful to a lot of people, and everybody's scared. So, I got to tell you, it doesn't matter what's going on in this world. 6 billion people are not going to be homeless. I know I'm not trying to sound sarcastic. It's just the truth. 6 billion people are not going to be homeless. Okay. We are not going to lose everything. It's not a possibility. If you could just slow down, just slow down, take a deep breath, call your friend. Okay. And I'm not judging anybody. Please do not. I'm not judging anybody. Don't Facebook message your friend. Call your friend.
Call them.
Call them.
Yeah.
Text them. Say, I just want you to know that I love you. Okay. See how they're doing. Ask, go on Facebook and ask if anybody's got any really great recipe ideas. Because after 7 days, you have no idea what to cook. Okay. Just relax. Take the time to take some much needed care about yourself, because that's going to change the energy. Self-love. And I've teaching this a long time. People think it's selfish. It's called self-love for a reason.
Self-full. You got to fill up yourself first.
You got to fill up your, I love that. Self-full.
Self-full. You've got to fill up.
Stealing some of your stuff.
Absolutely. We have to be self-full. You really have to take care of, there are what we refer to, there's two parts to this. And I really thank you for what you're sharing, because just as we've created this, where our focus within the law has been, and when we're looking at that, our role and our responsibility and how we've been thinking, how we've been acting, what we've been prioritizing as human beings, what we put blinders on and pretended wasn't happening in the world. We're all responsible in part for that. We all have a role here. So, and because of it, we're, as KJ said, we're all going through our own stuff. We're being affected in some way that is helping us to reprioritize our life. Who really matters? What really matters? The thing, and when times like this is about gathering the people you love close to you, bring them in, hold them tight. Life is precious. Yes, there are many people in the world like me who can still talk to them when they're on the other side. But trust me, I'm human. There's nothing I would love than to be able to have my dad here in physicality, so I could still hug him and talk to him and have a drink with him, or we still miss the physical presence. So we're given this beautiful, blessed opportunity for self-love, for self-care, to heal, to shift, to forgive, to look at how the choices we've been making for our lives and reprioritize who and what is really important. The other part of that equation that can make it a little bit difficult is that when someone is struggling already emotionally, when they are struggling in their life in some way, whether with career-wise, financially, in relationship, as a parent, being able to function and be that healthy mom that's not losing her head, because I know my kids have seen me lose my head many a times.
Some of my kids on here right now, and they can just zip
spinning.
it. Yeah,
it was spinning.
They're going to make some comments in a second. They should not.
And we have opportunity right now to heal. The other part of that equation is, and this is where I spoke about this for those of you who joined me on a live I did a couple of days ago, is the other side of the coin are the people who now in what we call isolation and what we call, this is actually almost making it worse for some people. And that's why, the depression might be worse. The fear is worse. The difficulties within relationship, with the domestically, what's going on can be worse. And I know I'm seeing it in my clients. I have a lot of people who are hurting, who are wounding, who it was so much easier to be away from home than what it is in home. And that's a really big part of it. So that's where, as KJ said, this is our time to reach out, to connect with those people. How are you doing? Are you okay? And know that we love you, and know that we're here, and that there's help and services, and there's things that can, again, I do, like KJ, I do so much pro bono work that we just, that there is help available for those that require help, right? So there's that two sides of the coin. But what here, I think that what we're seeing now, which is so beautiful as well, what are we doing? So how do we handle this? Yes, take a deep breath. Focus on what our three basic spiritual needs are, and our three basic spiritual needs for every single person are hydration, nutrition, and a little bit of exercise. Let's take care of our bodies. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's love ourselves, nurture ourselves, be kind to ourselves with our thoughts and our actions. And that's going to ripple out. That changes the frequency. Epsom salt baths, exactly. That changes the frequency of how we all feel. And in that, there's more people that are gathering. You're so funny. There's more people right now that are gathering in collective prayerfulness right now, not prayer according to religion and structure, but in prayerfulness. And so many people asking, when we understand law of attraction, asking for something new, different, and better than what we're experiencing. And that in itself is beautiful. This is an abundant universe. We are going to be okay. The amount of people that are asking for health and for prosperity and happiness and joy, not just for the selfish one, not just selfishly, but saying for all of humanity, is making an incredible change within the frequency of the whole entire planet and how this is going to play out. Now, you want to talk predictions? And again, KJ, I will quit here in a moment so you can talk.
Yeah, you do.
Give this about 3 months, you guys. Give this about 3 months, and we're going to already start to see the light, so to speak, of what we're coming through. So our choices we make right now are so important. How we respond right now is so important.
That's the key. Choose how you're going to feel. You have control over your mind, even when you know you don't, or when you think you don't. Right. You have control over your thoughts, even if you think you don't. Okay. So let the bad thoughts come in and then stop and choose. Choose to love instead of hate. Choose to remember that each and every one of us, no matter how bad it is, we have been through worse. Okay. We have been through worse as individuals, maybe not as a collective on this planet together, but as individuals, we have been through worse. Pay attention. It's so easy for you to forget what you have already survived and thrived through. Okay. You forget. Don't forget anymore. Every day, take a moment and remind yourself what you have achieved, what you have been through, what you have experienced. And get back to the simple things. I am so lucky. I believe that I'm just so truly lucky that I was a former abused wife, because when I left my marriage, the one thing that I could only count on, okay, the one thing that was, I literally left with a crib and the clothes my daughter was wearing, okay, and when I got into my first place, which was a healing center, I remember it being, limited money, right? I was a single mom. And for me, the thing that was amazing was when my house was full of groceries. Okay. When I could go to the grocery store and my house was full of groceries and I could sit in my kitchen and have a cup of tea. And at the time I was a smoker, so have a cigarette. All was good in the world. Okay. Life was peaceful. And the reason that I tell you that I am so lucky that I experienced that is because today, no matter what is going on, and Thomas, hello from China. Thank you so much. And I'd love to hear where all of you guys are from. Today, when everything's going on, if there's food in my fridge, okay, if I know that my kids know that I love them, the bills don't matter. The car payments, the credit cards, the mortgage payment, it doesn't freaking matter. Okay. It is so important to come back to your basics. Because you know what? Everybody doesn't have what you have. There are people right now that are in abusive marriages that are being attacked and hurt right now. There are people that do not have food. There are people that do not have a roof over their head. Okay. There are people that don't have a car, are worried, will they make their car payment? And I'm not telling you that you are not entitled to your worries. I am not telling you that this is not important. I'm telling you that you go back to the basics emotionally, because that's how you choose and decide how you're going to feel. And how you choose and decide is what you're going to attract around you.
Absolutely. I want to just go back. I seen Marie just pose a question, and she said health, nutrition, and question mark. I want to go back to that, Marie, and just clarify a little bit more. The 3 basic spiritual needs we're talking about of taking care of ourselves, the importance of this. We're talking hydration. Let me tell you about hydration. The reason why hydration is important, water is important. We're energetic beings, and our physical bodies are made up 80, 90%, whatever they say, of water. So we need to constantly be hydrating. Hydration actually helps to it helps us to relax. It helps our emotional body to float, as opposed to being completely loaded down or weighed down. So the more we drink water, and the more hydrated our bodies are, the more relaxed state we are in. When we are relaxed, it raises our vibration. We can't help but feel a little bit better. So hydration is a natural for the body, and it flushes out all the toxins, right? We're getting rid of all of the stuff that is not serving us. stress, right?
Yeah.
And so when we are stressed and when we're in fear, and we're right now in this, and we have a lot of this, a lot of fear, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of trepidation over what's playing out in terms of this virus, we're contracting, and the cells of our body are literally contracting, and they're rubbing up against each other, and they create friction. And where there's friction, there's more stress. So when we hydrate, we allow for there to be some space, the cells of our bodies to relax. They create a little bit of space between the cells, a little bit of buoyancy. We feel a little bit more at ease. That helps to settle the emotional body. That helps us just to go for a moment.
Yeah.
The second part of that is nutrition. We have, as we've seen all of the movies and documentaries that are out there, and we know we do not, especially in North America, treat our bodies with much regard when it comes to nutrition. And when you consider where we live, I mean, I live in Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, so it's cold. We still have like buckets of snow, like it's crazy cold. And so for us, fresh organic produce and things, it's not necessarily always available, but it's also the other parts of the things, the minerals, the vitamins, the things that we need to do to make sure we're making healthy choices for our body. High vibrational foods help to raise our vibration, our body functions, it builds the immunity system up, and our body functions much more healthfully. The third one is exercise. Now, I don't mean grueling exercise. This is not about going and trying to push yourself so hard that you're twisting your ankle and throwing out your back and all of these things. This is gentle movement, just to get moving. Stretch your body. Energy, we're energetic beings, and energy needs to move. So when we're feeling lethargic, when we're feeling stressed, when we're feeling tired, when we're feeling afraid and we're on edge, the best thing we can do is to breathe and to stretch our bodies. Go for a walk. Do something to release that energy. You will feel lighter. You will feel so much better. And all we are ever looking for is a little bit of relief from how we've been feeling. We're not going to, not buckets, not moving forward from A to Z, just from A to B, a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better.
Yep. Epsom salt baths. Absolutely amazing. And I'm just going to throw this out here for all of you. I got this on Amazon, just FYI, super cheap. Like
so good. It's such good stuff. Yeah.
Epsom salt baths, reading fictional books, standing in your shower for 5 minutes longer and allowing the outside of your body to be hydrated too. Okay. Yoga, stretching, amazing conversations, quiet time where you're not on your computer and you're not doing all of those things. And, you're not just quiet time. Okay. Laying in bed and reading a book before you go to sleep. There are so many things that you can do. So many things that you can do to shift and change this energy. And I don't know about you, but I think this is turning out good so far. And we're not anywhere close to done. Don't misunderstand me, but I'm loving the numbers and stuff. So I have a feeling we're going to be doing this again really soon.
Yeah.
Right. So good news, everybody.
Good news. Yeah, we'll be back.
Done doing this. But the other thing that we want to do is the other thing that I'd really like to do is help you. A grateful journal. You are absolutely right, Diana. A grateful journal. Just a separate favorite music is amazing.
Music,
yeah.
Sing. I love to dance. Like honestly,
yeah.
I will waltz by myself.
Yeah.
I will dance and I will rock it out by myself, whatever.
Yeah.
And that helps really anything to do to shake off what is the funk. I think one of the most important things here to consider is that we take a look at what we understand self-care and through this, what we call self-isolation time. And if we could just turn that into being a little bit of a retreat for ourselves.
Yeah, how about self-love time?
Right? Way better position.
Yeah, how about self-love instead of self-isolation? Now, just on a total separate note, because you guys know it's like squirrel. You apparently know Jen Connolly, or Jen Connolly knows you. And just for the record, I went to school with Jen. Just throwing this out here. Jen,
small world.
Just a little eerie how many times I hear somebody be like, "Oh, you mean Bonnie?" About people.
How do you know that? Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to point out my children are here. Jennifer, for an example. Jen, do not cancel your wedding. My Sammy. I mean, there's so many people here that I'm loving, and I want to check this out. So just bear with me for a second.
I do too.
I am Andrea, an old friend of KJ. I love you, sweetheart. I'm an international teacher currently living in China. COVID-19 has made a positive impact in my life as I was stuck under self-quarantine. and mini quarantine for the last 8 weeks. I can say during this time, I have been able to slow down and breathe. Wow. Beautiful girl. First of all, Andrea, you know that I love you. And you know that I am well aware of your teaching and stuff in China. And I am so proud of you for how you dealt with all of that. That's just beautiful. And I'm just, going to throw out this really quick. Sammy, you're in serious crap from me. I haven't heard from you in weeks, young man. Weeks. Just throwing that out there. And just so you guys know, we are watching this. Please keep posting stuff. I promise we're going to answer questions. I truly do. Yeah. It's just, we want to get all this information to you guys before we turn into the psychic crazies and have a good time. Okay. Because I don't know if you guys know this. Poker's closed right now. So I'm here with you.
What does the girl do? Right?
Apparently I come live and answer some damn psychic questions. I'm just kidding. I'd be here anyways. I mean, I'm not kidding about poker being closed, but I'd be here anyway. Right. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to talk about, if it's okay with you, sweetheart.
Absolutely.
I would like to talk about empaths for just a minute because man, these souls out there that are picking up everybody else's energies, it's like so overwhelming. And that is a part of the problem. That's a part of what's affecting our energy is, you pick up all these energies and you pick up all these emotions and you have no idea what to do with it or what to do about it. And you have no idea how to handle it. And so I would like to share. So I'm just going to share mine about empaths for just a second. And then because we're both teachers, so you got lots of information too. If you get overwhelmed, my lovely beings over here, by other people's energies and emotions, I just have a couple of little secrets for you that are going to help you. Okay. The first thing that I'm going to suggest is salty snacks. Have salty snacks with you everywhere. Now, everybody thinks I'm crazy. Okay. And if you've been to see me for a live show, you think I'm an alcoholic because you see these lineups of Caesars sitting behind me and you can thank Anthony Zitko for that, who's on this little feed. But I would like you to know they are alcohol free. I'm not actually an alcoholic. There's no booze in them because you do not want clairvoyant drunk ever. You don't want that. Okay. I would cause divorces. So I always have salty drinks with me. Okay. I also always have salty snacks. And the reason that you do, so this is really important for you to understand, if you absorb other people's energies, it is impossible to have a sodium problem. And the first thing that depletes out of your body is magnesium and sodium. So how you recharge yourself, so it's just a quick little balance, is have salty snacks. Now, I'm not telling you, little Miss Angie, no wonder I crave chips. I'm not telling you to go get a thing of Pringles. Shut up with the
it's not permission to go crazy here.
I'm talking, some beef jerky, some salted almonds. Worst case scenario, some barbecue peanuts. I know I'm stretching it a little bit. Celery.
These are dark chocolate sea salted almonds. They are an empath's delight.
Well, I didn't know those existed, but I might have to go do. You can send me the link, right?
I will.
Yes. Okay, thanks. I mean, you might want to share that with everybody. Okay, Epsom salt baths, absolutely. For those of you that don't like baths, I don't know what's wrong with you, but whatever. We'll find another tool. Salty snacks. Okay. Virgin Caesars while you're out in public. If you're in a pinch and you're just overwhelmed, I'm not suggesting this, but McDonald's French fries are salty. I'm not saying they're the best thing for you. So that's first thing. Okay. Salty snacks. So important. Have them with you all the time, especially right now. Okay. Salt replenishes your energy. Absolutely. It creates an instant balance. It stops the brain. It just, when you're an empath and you're absorbing everything, it just goes, okay. Very important. The next one, especially during all of this time, hobbies. Have hobbies. Sorry, just give me a second. Is it weird that I'm relieved to not have to pretend to have a super busy life to keep up appearances and I don't feel guilty? Oh, baby girl, Rula, you are speaking my language, sweetheart. The only downfall that I have now is that I can't even tell all my kids that I'm so busy right now and I'm running all over the place and I was at poker 4 days this week because they all know it's not true. I'm with you. Totally with you. Yeah, that's the thing. As empaths and as people with anxiety and stuff, you got to understand, we've all been preparing for this self-isolation things our whole lives. I mean, that's no joke when you see that on Facebook. Like when everybody's like whatever. When they tell you to stay at home, I'm like, yes, baby.
I know.
I am putting on my pajamas. Like,
Oh,
yay!
retreat.
Right? I mean, I miss my grandchildren and I miss my kids and I miss, yes, you can eat pickles. Pickles are amazing.
Dill pickles,
Dill
perfect.
pickles are absolutely amazing for the
Yes.
salt. I mean, yes, I miss, my Kara, my Brendan, and my Amanda, and my Jennifer, and my Kaden, and my Mackenzie. And I'm just going to keep listening to everybody. And I know I didn't list everybody because I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a lot of kids. So I seriously, I'm missing y'all. But, taking this time is so amazing for us. And for those of us that are so overwhelmed, it is so nice that you don't actually have to fake it and claim that you are just, I got a list of chores to do in a condo that takes me 23 minutes to clean from top to bottom. You have no idea how many times I've thought, hey, call me sometimes. Oh, okay, that's not me. Never mind. Thought I was getting crap from one of my kids. So, sometimes I miss my big house because I don't have the excuse that it takes like 5 hours to clean it, which was also an excuse because I paid my children to do it.
Oh my gosh, is that just it, right?
Hobbies, important.
Totally important.
Really important. Hobbies, really important.
Yeah.
Taking time for you. Guided meditation. Guided meditation is an amazing thing. Not everybody can meditate. Okay, you got to take care of the empath in you. So now it's your turn, sweetheart. You tag. You're it.
Absolutely. And so as empaths, of course, we are sensitive to energy. I'm a spiritual empath. There's many different kinds of empaths. I kind of have it all going on. So I've got, the collective consciousness. I've got my own energy. We are energy. And so as an empath, we are absorbing all of that energy into our energy field, which just becomes like weighted down. We become saturated. I always explain this as, having a sponge, and when a happy-go-lucky light beings, they were light and fluffy, and all of a sudden we get saturated by everybody else's stuff. And so we get very weighed down in it. And so when a sponge is heavy, when it's saturated with water, it's really hard to move, and we feel that. So one of the power things that you can do as an empath is to stop buying into everything that you feel. The moment that you say, I am tired, I am depressed, I am exhausted, I am angry, I'm scared, is the moment that you bought into it because it was on sale. You sensed the energy of it. It was on sale. You bought it. You claimed it. And now you become that.
You own it.
You own it. So my recommendation, and one of the things that has worked so great for me, is to recognize the energy. I recognize the energy of anger. I recognize the energy of frustration. I recognize the energy of sadness. I recognize the energy of happiness. Recognize this is all energy, and then you're not absorbing it. You're not calling it in. What happens is the energy can just basically move through your field, and it doesn't become stuck there. So that just being able to tweak that, and taking it, make sure that watch what you're buying, what's on sale out there, right? Not everything's a
emotional,
good deal,
right? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's not Groupon, people.
No, exactly, right? Mm-hmm. So I recognize the energy is one of the most powerful things that you can do. And then on the flip side, a lot of things that KJ is saying, so important. I think one of the very first readings, when I had with she was telling me, because I was in empathic overwhelm, I was telling you all about that at the beginning. And as a kid, I used to, the salt blocks that for cattle out in the field, I used to break chunks of that off, and I used to suck on that. And then I was like, you shouldn't do that because that's too high concentrate of salt. And KJ's like, you need a salt block like the cows are having, right? And so that's true. We do need more sodium, and we need to understand, we need to give ourselves permission to have those foods that help to regulate our system, our energetic system.
Your body knows,
right? Our body knows what it needs. It knows how to process it. It knows how to work with it. So this is not about saying I shouldn't have this. It's taking a look at what is it that you require in order to stabilize, to neutralize a lot of these energies. Yeah. So simply looking at what are those very things that we can do to better care for ourselves is important, as well as recognize the energy of something as opposed to taking it on. The second part of it is what you do. You are feeling that energy. You know what? Stop for a moment. Feel that. Find out where it is. Where is your body holding it? Where are you hanging on to it? And then simply express. You can let go now. You can let go. That you no longer have to feel that way.
Breathe it out.
Give it permission. Find your breath. That's exactly where I'm going. And so in that, I'll tell you this is a real powerful breathing exercise. You breathe into the count of 2, hold for the count of 2, and you exhale for the count of 4. Get very rhythmic with it. Sit with whatever you're feeling within your body. Give it some breath. You know, what did we do when we were born? The very first thing we did was breathe when we came out of our mother's wombs. We were born and we caught our breath. We're being asked to catch our breath. Catch your breath. Breathe into those places, and you're going to see how quickly that intensity or that negativity or whatever it is you're feeling begins to dissipate. There's life in breath. So find your breath. Breathe deeply and consciously.
Oh, I love that. Now I'm just going to, sweetheart, I'm going to add something just really quickly. If you're an empath and you crave sweets, it's because you haven't actually consumed enough salt. Just FYI, I just thought I'd throw that out there. But I'd like to show a question on our screen. So I'm just going to show this. This is from Lisa. What do you say for the healthcare workers, hi, sweetheart, who don't have the chance to stay at home or to do for themselves? So important. This is where the salty snacks, especially if you're a healthcare worker, even outside of this pandemic, just for the record, they work 12 hours, like just beautiful, beautiful creatures that you are. I have no idea how you do this. And I have no idea how empaths do it, but they do it every day. So salty snacks, extremely important. But I got to tell you, I've never actually heard the breathe one. And you guys all seen me just do it. That would be an amazing thing for them to do at work. What do you think, Bon? What do you
Absolutely.
Give me some examples.
I think that it's really important, and recognizing the energy, of course, is really important, but simply, you know what, just wave and you go like this sometimes. Snap your fingers.
Shake it out.
Shake it out. Get rid of it. Just to know that you can do anything to shake free from what you're carrying. Because again, they are the frontline workers. We have to hold special acknowledgement for all of those people working on the front lines because of what they're having to deal with, the sacrifices that they're making, time away from their own families, time away from their own self-care in order to help and serve. And so we really honor those people. And truly. So, again, I want to come back to it. Hydration. Cleansing your physical body is one of the greatest ways. Flushing, drinking lots of water while you're on shift, as well as KJ said, standing there for that extra few minutes in the shower and let that cleanse. You can also take a deep breath and imagine for yourself just that you're standing under a waterfall, or you've got a silver shower that you're standing under in that moment. Intention is everything. So if even you intend that you're in a shower so that you can cleanse your energy field,
you bet.
Intend it, breathe it, and it's done.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to show another one really quick. So this is Bethany. I love you, baby. Do empaths fall asleep like they have narcolepsy, or is it just me? I fell asleep just now with my computer. You guys are not boring. LOL. Totally me. It actually is true. When you get overwhelmed by air energy, and you got a picture, there's a lot of us in here. So when you get overwhelmed by energy, you can absolutely get affected that way. Also, I have Graham here, who I wonder if that's why Peg is so tired. Graham, honey, I love you. Peg is tired because she's an empath. She absorbs things. She doesn't let anything go, and she refuses to work with it. I'm just saying. She's just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. See, and Andrea here. So look at this, guys. Oh my, I just shook it out. My cat gave me the weirdest looking laugh. But it works. And just for the record, when I gave those empath secrets, those are amazing for children. Okay. You got to understand. You think you guys are scared right now. You guys think you're overwhelmed right now. None of us are explaining anything to our kids because we just don't think they understand, and we don't want to overwhelm them. We don't want to scare them, and you're not understanding. You're scaring them more. So get those salty snacks in there. Get them doing all kinds of hobbies and stuff. It just makes such a difference. Okay. It just makes such a difference. So question for you. Do you feel like we've covered enough of this to start truths and myths and stuff?
I think so. I feel like there's some questions. I keep looking at the thing. I feel like I'm being guided to I gotta jump in over here. So absolutely. Let's go here's some of the questions.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking, guys. I think it's time for you to be able to have some fun with KJ and Brian. Okay.
KJ
and Brian. KJ and Bonnie. I've spent 20 years saying KJ and Brian. I've never worked with another psychic before. You guys all gotta cut me some slack. Okay, this is my female Brian right here. So I think it's time to have some fun with KJ and Bonnie and KJ. And it's time for you to be able to ask us some questions. So here's how this is going to work, my lovelies. I want you, before you throw out your question, I want you to put Bonnie or KJ, or if you really want to push your luck, Bonnie and KJ, you can go ahead.
And a question mark at the front of the comment, because it helps us find the
that does help
in the midst of all of the comments.
Yeah, that does help. That does help. And just really quickly, hello, Julie. I love you, sweetheart. So that's what I want you to crack me up, KJ. I crack everybody up. You need drugs to be around me for long periods of time. I love you too, Julie, sweetheart. It's so good to hear from you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to throw out your questions. Yes, I want to hear from Brian. John, go home. I love you. Okay, so Bonnie and KJ. Okay, so you know what? That's what we're going to do. Let's do this. Bonnie and KJ, do masks do anything during this COVID-19 outbreak? Go ahead, Bonnie. She said Bonnie first.
Absolutely. We have to be conscientious that the virus, you know, and you can listen to any of the medical reports and things, that the virus is airborne. So what we're breathing into it. It's being taken into. So a face mask will actually prevent what is the, and what they're showing me right now is the liquidation or the, of what the virus is, of what is sitting out there for us to breathe and inhale, to, especially through the sinuses, to become attached into the sinus cavity and basically hang on in there and then go from there. That's why this is a respiratory virus. It's what we are inhaling. So therefore, again, at home when you're doing your breathing and stuff, I mean, your environments are clean, but when you're out there in the world, absolutely. My husband even went to get groceries today, and he took a scarf and he just covered up. He said he was sweating like all he could.
That's
not.
What I do is I just grab something to cover.
Cover up.
Do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wash your hands. Make sure absolutely the masks really work. And there are a shortage of masks right now. So if you're someone who sews and who can get masks to the healthcare providers, to get them to the seniors, start wearing them. Absolutely. There's a huge, I'm going to say, this is just my opinion. There's a huge yes that is being given to me that is saying, yes, it's important for everyone to be self-responsible and to recognize that even if you're healthy, you could be a carrier for someone, and just what you're expressing and you're breathing out can be something for them to breathe in and can be very debilitating for them. So self-care and attention to this, yes, there's a massive yes on the masks. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to concur. So we have Kate. Kate's lovely. Should I give up singing in the band? So I'm going to, if it's okay with you, I'm going to take this one first and then I'm going to hand it to you. Yep. Number one, no, you should not give up. Now, in saying that, sweetheart, I have some serious questions about the band part. And I'm not sure if it's because, no, the hell am I saying? I'm not sure. I feel like, or I'm hearing that not everybody's on the same page, and we really need it to be on the same page, sweetheart. But what I feel is that you have an absolutely spectacular voice, and I feel like you have been driven to do this your whole life. And the lack of the success of what you're looking for stems from fear of succeeding, but it also stems from not finding the right connection because you keep attracting the fear of succeeding, if that makes any sense. So yes, I do think you should keep singing. Yes, I would like to see a whole new band, and I would really love to hear your music. Go Bon.
Mm-hmm. I see you solo. I love that you said drop the band, because I see you solo. And I see right now, about you getting on YouTube, you starting to create your own channel, you starting to put your own voice out there and start to begin to create, because in doing so, you're actually going to find, or the people who are looking for you for this new band are going to find you. So drop the idea of the band, go solo, and then just be open to what evolves from there.
That is my girl. Now, I'm going to throw this one out really quick, and then I'm going to look down a little bit. I can't answer this one, so MJ or Bonnie. Candace actually meant KJ, but it's okay. You're fine, Candace. I can't answer this, and the reason that I can't is because her sister is my daughter-in-law. So I can't actually pick up on Grandpa unless he's being pushy, which he is occasionally being. Point that out.
Okay. All righty. Hello, Candace. Let me say, I'm going to say that he's not actually the only one around you. You have a lot of loved ones on the other side. Let me just say this. And they actually are showing that they've been working very hard to get your attention. Part of you, it's like, they're funny because they kind of point to KJ, where they're saying it's like almost like a little bit denial, the fact that they're there. You're starting to talk yourself out of this a lot of the experiences you're having in your home, a lot of the things in the moment where you believe that, that might be Grandpa. No, that's not possible for him to be that. That's not Grandpa. And you talk yourself out of it. That's one of the first things that I'm seeing here very, very clearly for you. So yes, he is absolutely with you guys. He could not be prouder of you. He said you have turned into one of the most amazing women ever. And he wants you to own that. He's showing me that there's times where you're kind of hard on yourself. And so it's really important for you to recognize and to know that, one, that you are so lovable, and that you there's so much about you to be proud of. He's showing me, I feel like they're like sitting on his lap. It's like when the times, it's like you were super close to him. There was a great relationship. It's like he wants to take you and bring you on. I'm feeling as if you're sitting on my lap. That's what he's showing me. It's like sitting on his lap, letting him hold you, letting him reassure you, rubbing your back, just soothing you right now. He says that you've had a lot of stress and worry in terms of career, of what you should be doing. And he says you're downplaying your talents. You downplay what you're capable of doing. And so he says you have a lot of success. And he shows me an astrological chart. So if I was to look at your astrology chart, apparently there's a lot of success in your chart. And so he doesn't want you to worry. You are just supposed to follow what you want to do with your life, go where your passion is. And he's telling me he's going to be walking right beside you, and he's going to ensure that you succeed. He is so proud of you. He's showing me your heart. He says you are one of the kindest, most compassionate, most giving, most gentle people. And that because of it, you've also taken what feels like people have been really, the school of hard knocks, or people have been really hard on you, or you don't really feel like you really fit in or know where you fit in life. You're so much more than you give yourself credit for. And he really, he's holding your face. And he's telling me that you have, in terms of lineage, that you have a lot of the characteristics, a lot of the face. You look like him, like you belong to that side of the family genetically in terms of how you look. He thinks you're just beautiful, and you need to be really, really proud of yourself and know that he's proud of you, he says.
Well done. Okay, now I'm going to throw out another one. And just really quickly, because I know Kara so well, I'm pretty sure that message was to you too, Kara. KJ, should I stay in Calgary or head to Edmonton to stay with my sister during the pandemic? Alicia, sweetheart.
Stay.
I have, see, now this is, okay. So this is where the dueling psychics get to come in. Because normally I would say stay. The only reason, and I want you to respond to this too, Bonnie. There's a lot of fear going on because of a pregnancy. There's a lot of fear. There's fear of being alone, fear that something's going to happen while I'm alone and I can't get through this, or I can't get past this, or, what's going to happen. And so I keep feeling like energetically that means that you should go. But I'm actually going to get you to continue because you're also seeing something. So go.
I agree with it, but I think right now I'm getting the word stay, which means not to make any decisions right now in terms of picking up and going within the next few days. This is about really taking an opportunity to just make some plans, put some plans in place, get things kind of it's not like a hurry up and pack and get there. This isn't like, hurry, I need to go. But yes, you will be going. But for right now, I'm just seeing a little bit of, don't rush this. Just take your time and make a strategic plan here.
Yeah, because health is good. There's no issues for at least the next month and a half. That's important to understand. I'm not telling you to go to Edmonton because something's going to happen, sweetheart. The only reason I say go when it's time for you to go is because you're freaking out. Not actually because I think there's anything wrong with health or delivery or, which, speaking of which, by the way, sweetheart, I'm just throwing, are you like, I have known you for years. Baby? Awesome. I'm hoping you're going to respond to that at some point, but I keep hearing something about baby. So that is beautiful. Where do we got? Do you see something really? I'm so far behind here.
I just went to the top. I'm just kind of scrolling through.
So here's another one. KJ and Bonnie, how long until everything goes back to more normal,
kind of setting into what is our new normal in life. And just funny, KJ, you said that. I was scrolling. I stopped at his question and you pulled him up on screen. That was amazing.
Yeah. And so the other one, and I'm going to go down further, but I do know that Amanda has left this a few times. Okay. And so I'm just going to show that this is here, but then I'm going to hide it back up so we can actually see our faces. Either or both. I need to ask a question. I was focused and believed that all would be great until today. I just found out a client is leaving as of today okay. So I'm going to start because Amanda is one of my clients and I'm going to kick her butt. Oh my God, Amanda, you have been through so much in the last 3 freaking years. You have paid off all your debt. You have healed a serious health issue. You got a notice from your house saying that you had to move. You bought a damn house and now you're stressed out because a client is leaving. You are self-employed, sweetheart. You are a day home provider. Clients leave. They come back. Smarten up or I'm going to come over there and smack you. And I'm not allowed because of social distancing. You are fine. Bonnie, your turn.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I see so many of them here. I want to go to Diane. Diane is saying about fostering a little girl and wondering if I will keep her. I'm going to tell you, Diane, you guys, this is your child from another mother. And so there is a deep, deep bond that is here. And so there is absolutely, this is about staying connected, doing what you can in order to keep, to nurture and to provide for her, even if and just saying, because there's a little questionable energy around this as to whether or not she will be staying with you on a permanent basis. That looks like there's a lot that needs to be finalized. There's some legalities behind that. But while you have her, love her the way that you have. She's finally at a place where she feels at home and safe and secure, and kudos to you for how you've opened your heart and opened your home to her, because she is your child. In fact, I see this, she's come to you from another life, last lifetime. She finally found you. She's just, how she got to you is completely different. She is your little girl. Absolutely.
I'm also seeing something about some issues with fetal alcohol syndrome, something about fetal alcohol syndrome or some minor developmental issues that we do not need to worry about long-term, because it feels sort of short-term to me, but they just kept showing me drinking, and she's a child, so that's not her. I'm just going to throw this one out here really quickly. KJ, I'm seeing 1111 and 111 now more than ever. What are my guides trying to tell me? So I'm just going to throw this out here for all of you. 1111 is a power number. 1 is new beginning. 111 is new beginning. 11 is growth, which is 2, which is new beginning, which is numerology. Many of you are seeing numbers all of the time. It is spectacular. When I see my number, just because I've got a specific one at 711, not the store. They do have my Eat More's, however, but not the store. When I see 711, I know everything is right in my world. So really important. I am actually going to do a live talk about numerology. And I'm actually going to talk Bonnie this is going to be a really tough to talk her into it, but I'm actually going to talk her into teaching a class too here pretty quick, because now I want to learn some stuff from Bonnie. I want to learn too. I don't trust teachers. I really want to learn. So we are definitely going to do something about numerology and stuff, but it all means good. Okay. Bon, you see something here that we want?
Yeah, I want to.
And are you able to grab it, baby? Can you click it and grab it? Grab it.
Can I?
I don't know.
I can't click it. No, I can't. I'm clicking on it. It doesn't say, but it's from Tara Dawn. Tara says, I get bad anxiety around certain people, and I get bad stomach pain as well. So this is what we were talking about earlier. You are a very highly sensitive person. You are an empath. And so as empaths, we do pick up on the pain of other people, the suffering of other people. It's actually part of what is the gift here in this sensitivity. And so this is in those moments when you're feeling that, by simply posing questions of saying, who am I feeling? Who am I feeling? Send this back so that you can be aware of it. And then you can speak to that person where you're saying, you know what, are you feeling okay? Are you all right? Are you, where you can start to be that helper, that friend, that person, because you are picking up a lot of heavy empathic stuff. And I do want to tell you the high degree of anxiety that you have is because you have not only what you're picking up from the collective and from other people, but you also have some spirit activity around you as well. And so your loved ones are coming in super strong for you. And so one of the what can happen for a lot of mediums is extreme anxiety because of spirit presence. So in those moments when you're feeling it, doesn't matter who it is, just know that your loved ones are with you. Say hello. Say thank you for being here. You can let that go now. So many people believe that they have to suffer and that they have no choice. Spirit forgets what it's like to be human, to have a physical body. They forget how overwhelming their presence can be. And so they don't realize that they're actually having what would be like a negative effect on our bodies and our systems. So just to acknowledge that you've got some not only energetic sensitivity to as an empath, but also to spirit, the spirit empath that is picking up on that of the energy of loved ones as well. And so just say thank you. Great to have you here. You can let that go. Let them know that they don't need to kind of come at you so strongly. That's going to help to subside a lot of the anxiety issues that you're having.
Yeah. Or if I wasn't on somewhere public, it'd be like, Mitch, get back, step back. That's me. Okay. I'm like, move it or lose it. Okay. I've had enough. So I'm going to throw this one out here. So we got a Susan Hampson. KJ, I want to know if I should open up a storefront anytime in the near future, like I was planning to do right before this pandemic. My first answer is absolutely yes. You should continue to do everything that you were planning to do before said pandemic. However, I would like to throw out a couple of things here because really, sweetheart, I think that you are doing really good and you're working really hard on this. And you can be very stubborn. You're not a really great listener. Not that I'm judging because I like to be in control too, but you cannot do this based on fear, sweetheart. You got to let go of all the fear. Okay. And all that's happening right now by you second guessing yourself. And again, so important to understand. I get it's a pandemic. You do not open a storefront in pandemic. Mind you, I'd start looking for rentals. Talk about some deals, but I'm just kind of throwing out the business mind to me. Okay. But I understand you can't open it during the pandemic, but you were going to do it anyways. Okay. So let go of all this fear. And on a clairvoyant note, you also need to be doing some online stuff, like a lot of online stuff, like major online stuff. Agreed, Bonnie?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw here because this was directed just to Bonnie. So I'm going to pop it right up to you. Here you go, sweetheart.
In a conversation I had with you a few weeks ago, you were thinking about my dad. What do I need to tell him? A lot of it, Annette, and know it's interesting. A lot of what he's,
I'm just going to step back now.
Yeah, there's so much coming in. I feel like Annette, and like I told you in the message and stuff, it really feels like he needs to take some time to really, to just, he's retired, but really not retired in what is in what is kind of slowing things down a little bit more in life. And so that's one of the biggest things for him, which is a little bit of a challenge because he does like to stay busy. So just to give him a little bit of heads up, to make him just say, you know what, it's okay to sit back. It's okay to not do anything. He's such a giving and kind person. He wants to help like everybody. He's helping his people in his community, he's helping his neighbors, he's going here, he's going there. And so it's just about making sure that he's taking some time out just to be still, to do nothing. It would also be really, really good. And again, I don't diagnose or anything like that, but there may be a little bit of some iron. I'm just seeing something around iron. Okay.
Throw on some steak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bonnie, I'm going to ask a favor. So one of the things that I would also like to do today, just while we've got time, is if you guys actually want to post on here, like, yes, you're posting KJ or Bonnie, which is great. But if you're a client of Bonnie's and you really want to talk to me, tell me you're a client of Bonnie's, because then I'll notice and I'm not lying to you. I like answering people I don't know. And Bonnie, we're going to do the same with you.
So Lindsay Baxter, she's been standing out here. Bonnie, has my mom been around? Lindsay, she hasn't left your side. She hasn't left your side. She's coming forward. She was one of the most loving, most gentle, most beautiful people. And she was, you guys had a great bond and friendship here. One of the things that she says that you've been missing so much, she's showing me the telephone, being able to talk to her. And she's saying, yes, she's been around. She's been trying to get her presence known to you, but she's asking you to continue with those conversations. She knows how much you miss her. She was like your go-to person. You talked everything through with her. She was your confidant. You guys had all beautiful mother-daughter bond that the two of you had, even though at times she says you're both a little stubborn and you knocked heads a little bit. She said all in all that the two of you had a really good relationship. What you're missing the most is your capacity to talk to her. And she's been getting you to recognize her presence around you so that you will just like talk to her as if you were on the phone. Talk to her like I'm talking to you now. Spirit doesn't have vocal cords, but they can hear us. They can see what we're doing and what's happening. And so but pay attention. She loved to cook. She's showing me she's in your kitchen with you. And pay particular attention to your cutlery drawer, because she seems to be messing things up for you. She's moving stuff around in your kitchen. It's like where the spoon should be in a certain drawer. You're going to find the soup ladle in your baking drawer, and it's like it's all mixed up, but she's having fun with you because she's reorganizing your kitchen, because she said she says you're a very organized person, and it's the one way that she can get your attention, because it just throws you off your game a little bit. So pay attention to some of those things. Yes, it's her. And I'm also getting something around there being in terms of a clock or some time, as if there's some flashing time for you. Pay attention. She's bringing you, I feel like the clock is like you've replaced the battery, and then she shows me, and then it's a new battery and you're replacing it again, or it feels like this clock is a dud. You might even have thrown it out, because this clock, something around time here. And again, a timepiece, a clock, a watch, whatever it is. But she's just laughing. Oh my God, did she have a great laugh? Because she's just howling, because it's been stressing you out over the fact that this clock is not keeping time, or you're having to replace the batteries. She is constantly around you, and she's always doing things like would be practical joke to catch your attention. So the things that might be frustrating you in the moment, just recognize that that's actually mom, and you can say, hi mom, you can stop doing that now, I know you're here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done. So I've got an Aaron Smith, KJ or Bonnie. My fur baby has had a bad eye ulcer. One of the options, if it doesn't heal, is eye removal. So I'm not going to lie to you, sweetheart. I am seeing surgery. But I'm also feeling or seeing that there is something more going on, because it's like this infection keeps coming out. So I'm seeing surgery. That's my answer. Are you okay with that, Bonnie? Do you got something else you want to say?
Absolutely. I'm somewhere else.
Okay. Go. You pick, sweetheart.
Michelle, Champagne. Hi, Michelle. You know what? This is so good that you're paying attention to your health. This is really, we talked earlier. This isn't anything that I want to say is a massive, what would be terminal diagnoses or of concern. It's just good that you're paying attention and that you are concerned. And I know that might sound weird in what's being shown, but honestly, everything that you're doing to increase the vitality of your health is having a positive impact. I do see a lot more, and maybe you are already, but I'm being taken to a lot of juicing for you. I'm seeing a lot of additives in terms of some nutrients and minerals that are going to help you to really boost your system, not only your immune system, but to help with cellular repair. And as you're doing this, you're going to do a massive shift in terms of where your health is concerned, and whatever it is that you've got going on, because it's a little bit concerning, and I understand that, but just to know that it's good that it's caught.
In remission from stage 4 lymphoma.
Oh.
So just on a separate note, because I don't ever get to answer those questions, thank you so much for picking her without even knowing that's what you did.
Even knowing. It was just,
yeah. So as you're seeing me starting to cry and being like, yes, juicing. And this tattoo I had done a decade ago when she went into remission. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm just going to throw another one out here. KJ, I'm going to get, you know what? Okay. So let's see. KJ, I was your client when you were in Airdrie. Can you please tell me, will I be able to sell my house? My neighbors are getting nasty. Isn't that a fact, Sam? Your neighbors aren't getting nasty. They're downright nasty. They're rude. Yes, your house is selling June, July. Answered. Done. June, July. Okay, go.
Susan Holly. She says, my husband's grandpa passed away early this morning, and how long does it take to cross over? And will she come around him a lot? Sorry, grandmother, not grandfather. Grandma passed away. What's so beautiful about this is, one, nobody ever dies alone, that there is always somebody there to meet them, to help them to the other side. So just to know that, because there's a little bit of concern, maybe that there were people that weren't there with her at the time of her death or her crossing, or the need to be with her. They say nobody dies alone on the other side. So there was a massive gathering and celebration in welcoming her to the other side. She crossed over, I'm going to tell you what, like immediately. And the reason for it is she was pretty much almost completely crossed over before her physical body even died. She was like, they show me like 1 foot into the body, and the rest of her was already on the other side. So her transition was actually very, very quick. And it really took no time at all. It was like, boom, she was there, and she was gathered into celebration of her coming home. So again, Will she be coming? Of course she will. Oh my gosh. She's showing, she was very, I'm going to tell you what, she's so funny. She's so funny in how she presents herself, because she presents herself as a very matter of fact, got straight to the point, says things like they were, and didn't kind of sugarcoat anything. And so that's exactly how she's coming through right now. And she says, absolutely, she will be. She wants to continue to take care of her family. It can vary for spirit from time to time, depending on the circumstances, depending on so many things, which of course we don't have enough time to get into right now. But just know in Grandma's case, it was immediate because she was almost already there anyway.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm just looking really quickly, and apparently we lost some of our streaming on Facebook. I'm hoping that it's back. If you lose on Facebook, YouTube is available, so you can jump back in. And I'm going to grab this one, honey, because she's a client of yours, and she sent me a message. KJ, KJ, I'm a client of Bonnie's. Do you have any insight about my parents at all financially, or any near future changes for them? Please and thank you. So first of all, sweetheart, I really love that I can see your picture, because you are a very stubborn, strong-willed young lady. You need to figure everything out for yourself, and you get frustrated super, super easily, honey. You got to learn how to get around that. So when I'm dealing with the family, I've got a move coming up. I'm seeing boxes. I'm seeing moving. I'm seeing changing of where we live, which I'm assuming is your parents. And I feel like Bon, has something been wrong? Something about her dad. Has her dad not been feeling well? Where's her dad? Do you know Michelle enough to know?
Mm-hmm. Her parents are both alive.
Okay. And has dad not been feeling well? I've got some circulation stuff coming up. I've got his back coming up. I'm feeling pressure in his movement. And I do, because mom likes to stress a lot. I don't know if we know this. Do you know this, Bonnie? Mom's a worrier. Her mom is a worrier, like a worrier. Oh, my Lord.
Michelle might be a little bit of a worrier.
You don't say.
Yeah, the apple doesn't fall maybe far from the tree.
because mom feels like she's really worried about finances and stuff. And as much as I've got to move and all of that happening, I actually think that they're going to be just fine financially. But I do have a move coming up, sweetheart, and that feels really good. Is there anything else I want to say to you really quickly? And seriously, sweetheart, you got to stop stressing. You're such a stubborn thing. You are so pig-headed. Just throwing this out there. Just throwing that out there. Okay. What do we got here? Let's try this one. Here, I'm going to throw one out for you. Is that okay, Bonnie? Honey, or do you see one that's grabbing you?
I'm going to go to Terry. Hey, Terry. Hello. I feel the loss of purpose. I've been on a journey, but I feel like I don't know if I'm still on the right path. You know, it's interesting because we're all feeling that right now. And it's actually been a question that's been sitting with a lot of people. If we go even back into 2019, the last probably 4 to 6 months, this has been a really big question for a lot of people who are on their journeys. Okay. And so number one, absolutely that you are on the right path right now. Things are changing up. Things are changing up in terms of what is your career, in terms of how you've been making your money, what you've been doing. Right now, in terms of for purpose, it's so interesting because I just put this out in my newsletter today about purpose. So it's so funny you brought that question up, KJ, for me, because purpose is about how do we find our purpose. Really start to take a look at the things you really love to do. If time and money were not an issue, what would you love to be doing? And then what you would be doing, could it help other people? That becomes the most important question. How is it that what I want to do is actually going to help someone else? So take a look at that. So your purpose is going to unfold, but I'm seeing a lot in terms of some online courses, some study for you, and I want to say there's something here that may be psychology based. And I know that you've done a lot. I see a lot in terms of education, but there seems to be, it could be spiritual psychology, or there's some kind of psychology base here for you that's going to further help in what is cultivating this, what I want to say, not as a change on your path, but almost like in a new direction. It's like your path has been going this way, and now all of a sudden it's just going to go this way. It's going to tend to go to the right a little bit, but you're always on path. That's the one thing to know for everybody here. There's no such thing as being on. Everything we go through is our path, and sometimes we go through the crappy jobs in order to help us line up with the job that we truly desire, how we want to be living with our life, and what we want to be doing with our life. And I see that that's really where things are at for you right now, Terry. And so go ahead, sign up for those classes. Do a little bit of research in terms of follow what's on your heart, because you've been talking yourself out of it.
I'm going to ask a really stupid question. I'm just going to apologize for a second because I want to talk to your sister, Susan. Honey.
My sister-in-law.
Oh, your sister-in-law. Yay.
Sister-in-law.
Do you have any idea why I'm seeing writing around her, Bonnie? Writing. Well, typing, really. Writing.
I don't know.
She's writing. Damn it. She's writing. Like so much writing. And just for the record, this cute little thing in the Boomba chair. Oh my Lord. Right? That is one stubborn, pig-headed little thing. Who is that? Who is that baby?
That is her grandson.
He's so sensitive and so stubborn. He's just so freaking cute. You just steal those cheeks. I just want to steal those cheeks. I have no idea why this is coming up, and I can't answer about your Aunt Inga, and I don't know if Bonnie can. But I keep seeing you should be writing, and I have no idea what that means. I just had to throw that out there.
It may be in terms of maybe I'm seeing writing too. It's so interesting as soon as you said that. I saw journaling. I thought getting a lot of the stuff that's going on in your head and some of the things you're trying to process and some of the things that you're looking to kind of, I want to say, heal, get clarity on, just kind of move past. The writing is your friend. To do some journaling, not only just a gratitude journal, but even just journal some of the other stuff that you're feeling, some of the things that are going on in your head. That's really going to help you to process things, and it's going to help you to release and let go.
Now, just really quickly, Michelle, apparently the thing froze and she missed your message. But just for the record, Michelle, Bonnie made me cry. The end result to Bonnie's message is you are going to be okay. And a shocker, you should be juicing. It's like your best friend knew something. You should be juicing, and that you're going through a lot of transformation. And did I miss anything there? Because you might not remember, Bonnie. But it is on there. And I even showed your tattoo. I even did that.
Oh, my heart is just going here. I need to get in touch with Kayla and Richard. Yeah. Kayla, I've been seeing your comment come up over and over. My heart is going crazy. I feel like it's pounding out of my chest. I feel like that there is your dad coming forward and through where there would have been something heart related for him. There might have been some in terms, because he's just showing me he's taking all the attention to the heart, and it's catching my breath, which he's also showing can also be in terms of a crossing that may be heart related, emphysemas, anything like that becomes really about the congenitive heart failure, that kind of stuff. That's where he's really taking me right now. And I can hardly catch my breath with him. So I just really want to what he's saying more than anything. You were his little girl. You were wrapped. He loved you so much. He just shows me his pinky. That's always a sign from spirit about you being wrapped around his little finger right from the moment you were born. He loves you so very much, and he understands how difficult that your loss. That his loss has been, the impact that it has had on the family, and he's showing you just as you had him wrapped and he was so close and connected with you when he was alive, he is still very close and connected to you as well. There is he's referring to again all of his family. He says for everybody, he's so incredibly proud of his family. He was a real family man. In fact, I feel like I just want to stand up and just be like so freaking proud of his family. And he says, you have had a lot going on. You've been going out of your way to help and care for everybody, involved here, right from children to counseling and help and support for all of those who are grieving his loss right now. And you haven't really given yourself permission to really just take some time to really honor how you feel and to honor your relationship with him. And so you don't have to say yes to everybody. You don't have to be everybody's helper. That you just need to grab. I feel like I just want to cuddle up. I just feel like I just want to cuddle up, and he's showing me just to cuddle up. Take some time for yourself. Feel and cry your way through some of the things, and he is with you. He is holding you, love. He is there, and know that you still have his finger. You still are attached to him.
Well done. Beautiful. Well done. So I've got here KJ. I'm a student of Bonnie's. Yay! Oh, yeah. Hello, Bonnie Armstrong. I'm a student of Bonnie's. I've been suffering from a burning tongue and mouth for over 2 years. Do you see any improvements of what is causing it? Doctor can't give any answers. First things first, you are actually having a yeast problem in your mouth is the very first thing that you should know. And what's happening is that you're like, there's like, it's like parasitic or yeast culture, and it's creating slicing in your tongue and on the sides of your mouth, which is creating burning. And this has everything to do with yeast, as crazy as that is. So we need to change something with probiotics. Now, on an intuitive level, I just like to throw out here, little miss, I am a student of Bonnie's. You should also be channeling.
She is.
Putting that out there. You need to channel, baby. like channel. And you are naturally an automatic writer, which you do not trust, just for the record. So you really should be doing some more automatic writing. But this is feeling like, and it'll come across like an autoimmune thing, but what it's feeling like to me is yeast. Now, even as I was looking at the question, my tongue actually started to get a coating. Because I have candida thing all over everywhere. So it started to get a coating right away, which is what made me realize that this is a yeast thing. So I know that sounds crazy. And just for the record, you are such a beautiful, beautiful woman. It's really taken you a long time. It's taken Bonnie a long time to figure out this is what she's supposed to do, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole need to be in control of everything and have all the answers probably gotten.
Mandy.
I just set you in a direction.
Oh my God, this is so good. Okay. You are an entrepreneur at heart, just so that you know this, hun. You are not meant to be working for other people. You are meant to be launching your own thing, so to speak. It's really important for you to start taking a look at, oh my gosh, I'm seeing so much in terms of what is design. You're very creative. And I think this is a part of you that has not been touched on here very much capacity. I'm seeing a lot of rigidness. I'm seeing a lot of structure within career. You're a free spirit. You're an entrepreneur. You're a creative soul. So this is really important for you to start to really play with your creativity. I see a lot in terms of what become artworks, where they may be even drawings and turned into greeting cards, or drawings turned into paintings and pictures for people. I'm seeing that there needs to be more creativity at the core of what you're doing in your life. And when you can tap into that, this idea, you need to give up this idea of work, because right now that's heavy. And so anything that you've been looking to do has not been fulfilling at all. This is about the invitations, about you changing and taking the work out of it, finding what brings you joy, what lights you up, what gets you excited, what comes easy for you. And I would say there's some blockage in terms of, again, from an energy perspective within that sacral chakra, which is the seat of creativity. If you spent some time energetically working to shift and align and work,
and tell him how she really feels. Tell him how she really feels. Give lots of love, lots of support. Be really understanding that this is going to devastate her, and this isn't to upset anybody, but when we get that kind of news about our parent, especially when it's about our parent, it means that the world has done something right. And I know that sounds awful, and I don't mean for that to sound awful, because nobody wants to lose somebody they love. Devastation is when a parent has to bury a child. The way the world works is when a child has to bury a parent. And it's sad and it's devastating, but just, give her lots of love and tell her to spend as much time saying everything she wants to say to him that she wants him to hear. Do you want to do anything there?
Oh, absolutely. As I would say, death is always the hardest thing we ever have to go through as humans. It's the most undeniable pain. And I just want to acknowledge right now, what I'm seeing for you is that you are doing more to support her than what you even realize. Let her be. Give her that space. Sometimes it's a cup of coffee. Sometimes it's just hanging out and saying nothing. But just letting her know, as KJ said, to take, this is an opportunity. Even though there's been troubling news, even though there's an upside, it's also a beautiful opportunity for there to be some reconciliation, for there to be